Wow. I am making my way to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I've spent, I don't know, I've lost count the amount of times I've been to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Awesome place, diverse reach, culture, in a great location. You know, a lot of people speak English as well. And this are key factors why many black Americans and let's say black British, or in general, let's say Westerners are moving to Malaysia. You know, on paper, people say Malaysia, it is a terrorist country because it's a Muslim dominant sort of place, but it's not the case. It's completely safe, absolutely safe. You know, I've been going to Malaysia for the past 7 years. It's brilliant. I'm not trying to glorify it and say it's paradise, no. Anyways, before I touch on that, why many Americans, black Americans and British or foreigners are moving to Malaysia, I just want to quickly say special thanks to China. I will definitely say that it's going to be a long pause in terms of like making content about China. I don't really, because of the situation that recently happened. It is not nice, really. You know, the discrimination side of things online. I'm not a fan of that. And of course, when I voice my opinion about this sort of thing, then people don't like it. You know, people don't want to listen. I saw quite a lot of few people actually. They agree and they send a regard, and I appreciate those who send a regard. You know, in terms of the situation, yeah, it is not a nice thing for black. If you're African, you're trying to find work in China, it can be a huge difficulties in terms of like discrimination, you know. So I don't understand it because I don't get, because being a teacher in this sort of an environment, and I know the parents, they want the kids to learn English from a native, which is fine, that's the demand. But when you discriminate because of someone, let's say complexion, I am not a fan of that at all, and I'm not comfortable with that, because at the end of the day, I know for sure these kids, when they grow up, if they get to university, most likely the parents who are, let's say, from a rich background, they are going to send them overseas. Most likely those teachers, they're going to be a diverse mix of teachers. I know this for sure because I went to universities, not just in the UK, but also in America as well. The teachers are they're incredibly diverse. Whether they're black, they're white, you know, you're not going to tell them, oh, I don't want my kids to be taught by a black teacher, by an Indian teacher. No, you're not going to do that because culture is completely different kind of environment. So that's the thing I don't really get. I don't really get it at all because it's not nice. Because if someone is qualified to do the job, really, race shouldn't be a thing. I'm black. If I was like, oh, I only want black person to teach me, I will never go far in life. You know, I grew up in the West, and I went to white schools and universities as well, colleges as well. You know, in the UK, you go sixth form, primary school, and then you go to college, university. You understand? So, and if someone know and understands something, they have knowledge in that, race shouldn't be a problem. So it's devastating. I think, unfortunately, on this side of the world, you know, in China, most people don't want to listen to this kind of like situation. So it breaks my heart, really. But of course, I'm not leaving, but I'm just saying, I'm just in a space of concentration. I'm not focusing my time on creating a video about China, because the way people that look like me online, it's not perceived in a positive light, and I don't like that. I mean, really, some of the few videos as well, it's so disturbing because it really pains me. It really pains me. That's the thing. I'm very emotional. You understand? So, but other than that, man, the quality people here. It's a country that I've enjoyed living in, and it's a brilliant place. I'll continue to live here, and I also have my work here. I'm just trying to like start a business here, and hopefully everything goes into fruition. So definitely for now, I'll be exploring a lot of countries overseas, and of course, and start with Malaysia and Indonesia, and moving forward. So I've been to 40 plus countries, and I continue to explore. So I'm not really restricted when it comes towards exploring different places. And definitely, man, I'll definitely say being a black person, you know, in this part of the world can be challenging. You know, some countries do discriminate, do treat you differently. And I've experienced that in Japan, in South Korea. Do you understand? So it's not a nice sort of feeling. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I'm not projecting anything negative, and then I'm getting negativity really, and I don't like that. I don't want to support this kind of like, movements. You understand? And I know people, my people also have their issues. You know what I mean? Of course, then we are not perfect, but and let's say go to a place where you're treated well, and Malaysia happens to be one of those places. Really, people treat. I've been going there for the past 7 years. I kid you not, right? And I think when I get there tomorrow, and I'll make some couple of videos as well. And I've got a mate, a friend, a Malaysian person I'm going to meet as well, my mate. So it's easy to make friends there. So I think it's one of the key reasons why many British people or Black Americans tend to go there, and Black people in general, the way you are perceived, because it's a multicultural. You have the Malay, the Indian, the Chinese. So you're not going to be in a space where people constantly going to, and see you in a, in a kind of light. You understand? Of course, I understand if you are a British person or you're American, you're from a Western country, you have a Western passport, your treatment is going to be a lot more better in a lot of countries you go, even in Africa as well. You understand? And so if you're African, unfortunately, if you have a green passport, what kind of passport you have, as long as you have an African passport, some country might not treat you that well. But generally, I would say my time in Malaysia, and for even Africans as well, they normally they treat us very, very well. I've never had an encounter where someone, basically and following me left to right, and basically calling me the N word or whatsoever. No, I've never experienced that. Especially Malaysia is a Muslim country, so it's pride itself on hospitality. So, and also, treating people with dignity. When you're there, you are going to see mosques, of course. Of course, Malaysia is a Muslim country, right? Mosques is there. You're going to see church as well in close proximity, and also temples as well. Like I said, it's a Muslim. It's a multifaceted kind of like background in society in general. Really, people coexist with one another in harmony. It's absolutely fantastic, really. And on top of that as well, since I'm a Muslim as well, so it's aligned with a lot of my belief and the way I go about things, really. So definitely that's part of the reason why Malaysia, Indonesia tend to suit me a lot more. Hence why I've been to these countries countless of times. I've lost count. I've been to so many places in Malaysia. And yeah. But for me, my favorite place, of course, in Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. I absolutely love it. I think the location is great. Hub as well, in terms of like moving around, really. So in the future, for now, I am still working. My base is in China, in Shenzhen, and basically I work there. The pay is good, and of course, not just being a teacher, but of course, there's a lot of opportunity as well to do business as well. So that's part of the reason why China, it's quite an important place, and definitely very safe. And if I didn't feel safe in that place, then surely I will definitely leave. You understand? But of course, it's very safe, and so as Malaysia as well, extremely safe and nice. You don't have to worry at all. People are very nice, very kind. Even when you get pulled over, if you're gonna get pulled over by the police, rarely happen, really. If you're a tourist or even if you reside in Malaysia, I don't understand. Most people that go to Malaysia, let's say foreigner, they tend to be on a tourist visa. So if you go there, if you come from Western country, I think you'll qualify for 3-month visa exemption, so you don't have to apply. So as soon as you touch down, you have that 3-month visa exemption, so which is awesome, right? For those who want to stay longer, that want to retire there, so Malaysia, my second home, the MM2H visa is absolutely awesome, but of course, very, very expensive, right? There's another way as well if you're married to a local Malaysian, and which is also a great option. Basically, I will see how the thing pan out really right now. I just want to get my head straight and enjoy myself. And if I get to meet any Muslim women, because for me, I prefer Muslim women because I'm also Muslim, so it will be a lot more easier. I've dated a lot of Christian women. It doesn't materialize, you understand? So definitely for me right now, my aim is to feel happy, and I'm very content, and I'm in good health, and I'm constantly out there exploring and just creating great memories, really. I think for me, traveling will be it's my everything really, and I will never stop and continue to explore in different territory really. I do have plans to explore a lot of African countries in the future. I mean, see, part of the reason why a lot of British, especially if you're black, they move to Malaysia, you don't really gonna get discrimination in that level where police constantly pull you over, or let's say the system constantly putting you down. I understand within the Malaysian culture itself, of course, you are going to get discrimination from different set of groups, but it is not at the same level compared to where we grew up, you understand? So it's completely different, you know? So yeah, for me, I hope there'll be a time where people can just see each other for who they are, you understand? I think that'll be great. But generally, when it comes towards religious tolerance and tolerance in general towards people from different faith and background, Malaysia executing that perfectly, which is awesome, fantastic. I'm telling you, I've been going there quite a lot. There was a time I spent 6 months in Malaysia. Yeah, just exploring up and down. And I've been there, I think, more like 6 times now for the past 7 years, you understand? So, and even about 2 months ago, when I was coming from the UK, you know, back to Shenzhen, stopped in Malaysia, of course, and went to Bali, and then I came back to Shenzhen, you know, and yeah, so affordability, absolutely one of the key reasons. It's very inexpensive, you know. I mean, the accommodations are absolutely quite great. You know, the condo, a lot of the apartments have gym facilities, and they also have pools as well. It's not going to break the bank. Let's put it that way. Of course, it's not the place you go to find work. Surely, there's no work for any foreigner there. It's very, very rare. There is if you're specialized in science field, then surely yes, of course, the opportunity for you there. But I'll say generally, there's not a lot of work there. So if you're going to go there, make sure you work online, or if you're going to retire there, make sure you have investments or business you're doing online or whatever back home. You know, so once you have those sort of thing pan out, that's when you're ready. From right now, for me, I'm 30 and I still got a long way to go. So basically, I'm not thinking to retire yet, you know, because I do have a lot of plans at the moment here in China. You understand? So China, it is my base at the moment. You understand? Of course, in retirement, surely considering my two favorite countries in the world, not just in Asia, but in the world, Malaysia and Indonesia. You understand? Of course, I will be in Indonesia as well, and I'll be exploring Makassar and Malacca as well, and of course definitely Malaysia is great. I think not just Malaysia, also Thailand, Vietnam is also gaining popularity as well. Been there, and I always love to go to Vietnam as well. Awesome. So yeah, cost of living great, healthcare, education as well, and the language, it's absolutely easy. Most Malaysians can speak English. On the Malaysian and language, it's not really that complex at all. So if you dedicate your time, it is not a rocket science. It's extremely, extremely easy. Really, basically, if I put more effort, then definitely it is not that hard at all. You understand? So, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to go back. Honestly, I miss Malaysian food. The food is awesome. Of course, I think Malaysia, in that region, it is, let's say, the fattest nation in Southeast Asia at the moment, because people do eat, because they do have a lot of options. So you have to watch your weight. So that's the most dangerous thing in Malaysia. Absolutely, the food is addictive. Of course, if you're gonna have the blend of the Chinese, the Malay, and the Indian, of course, the food is going to be nothing but exceptional. You understand? So Malaysia is getting popularity because of its friendly nature, the culture itself, the environment is very clean, it's very modern. It's like a second world country with a first world amenities. Really, absolutely amazing. The infrastructure in Malaysia is awesome. Moving around, it's absolutely sublime, really. So definitely, it's packed full of exciting stuff, really. So of course, I'm British, I'm African, I'm proud. You understand? So of course, right now, back in my country, it's not fantastic. Let's put it that way, but. And I will not trade my nationality for anything, because I've learned a lot from the UK. You know, of course, that's my home. That's where I grew up. Do you know what I mean? So definitely, I'm grateful. You know, and I've been blessed to live in so many countries over the years. You know, so basically, I'm honoured. So inshallah, with more time on this planet, then surely, I'll continue to see more wonderful places around the world, mainly in two of my favorite countries. You know what they are, you know. So for now, I will leave you here. So I am going to eat my dinner and then head to the airport. And then I'll be in Malaysia. I'll see you very soon in the next episode. So definitely, bud. So nothing personal, no personal vendetta with China or whatsoever. You know, it's just frustrating, and I hope things improve in China when it comes towards discrimination, which is not nice, really. And surely, my interaction with a lot of Chinese people in a face-to-face basis has been great. You know, I am not going to rule that out. Other than that, man, yeah, I think it's time for me to move on in terms of like the creation space. You know, of course, I'm not leaving China. This is my base, but I will stop making video about China. I've stated that in previous videos. So for now, I will leave it here. Awesome, fantastic, Malaysia, surely, and it's packed full of amazing stuff. It is not perfect, but surely it's a lot more inviting to black people, you know, and which is awesome, and I love that. So can't wait. Tell them I can see. Yes, of course. Nama saya Sheku. Yeah. So saya suka Malaysia. Bye bye.